How do you design events that spark a real connection, not just attendance? And how does community and technology work together to shape the future of experiential strategy? In today's episode, we are exploring the intersection of community building, strategic design, and tech innovation and marketing with someone who's not afraid to challenge the status quo. If you're tired of predictable programming and ready to rethink how you engage your audience, well, guess what? This conversation is for you.
Welcome to the Events Demystified podcast, where we demystify the world of in-person, virtual, and hybrid events, AV production, and AI technology by sharing practical tips, tricks, and strategies to help your event succeed. This podcast is brought to you by Lathan Events, a woman-owned boutique event production agency that caters to event professionals, small business owners, and entrepreneurs. We specialize in AV and AI education, integration, automation, and implementation, all based on our Fit for Events framework, which focuses on futuristic AV production, innovative AI technology, thriving audiences, and empowering behind-the-scenes teams. And I'm your host, Lathan Lathan, with over 2 decades of hands-on experience in event production, event management, and now AI technologies and cybersecurity.
Welcome, friends, to another episode of the EventsDemystified podcast. I'm your host, Lathan Lathan, and today I am more than thrilled to welcome Lathan, co-founder of Club Ichi, master of community-led strategy, and the brilliant mind behind some of the most human-centered experiences in B2B event marketing. You've actually got a sense of Liz in one of our prior episodes where we did this Hulk recording post the Rain Focus user conference. So if you got a chance to listen in, tune in, watch that episode, you already know that you're onto something good today. With over 20 years of experience in the event industry, Liz has earned a reputation for transforming traditional events into something truly exceptional and experiential and unforgettable. She's the creator of Spontaneous Think Tanks, the champion of real connection over stale agendas, and the engine behind Club Ichi, a fast-growing community for experiential professionals. She is also the publisher of the Engage Attendee newsletter, which I personally love reading every single time it drops, especially the featured tech section. If you haven't subscribed yet, you're missing out on some seriously smart, curated takes on where engagement and innovation are heading. So without further ado, let's welcome Liz to the show. Welcome to the show,
Liz. You'd be like this, whatever my picture was.
This is your like power pose. Where's the plant?
Exactly. Oh boy, I'm so glad to be here. Thank you, Anka.
Thank you for joining me. I know it's so hard these days to get a hold of you, so I feel like this is an accomplishment just getting you on.
You too.
We've been like on the square.
In the night. We made it.
We made it. Absolutely. I love it. Well, I usually like to start my conversation with something fun. So I had planned this, I guess, icebreaker for you. And here it is. If you had to die on the heel of when it comes to event design, one traditional event that, or one additional thing that you've seen at an event that you love to leave behind, what would that be?
The opening networking reception with the cheese cubes and the music that's too loud to talk over.
You feel very passionate about that. I want to hear more. Tell me more.
Well, this is the thing. It's your very first opening moment after people have picked up their badges, and you throw them in a windowless ballroom with spare kind of the decor looking a little sad. You got the DJ going with the music pumping so that people will feel excited and energized to go into their room, but they feel anything but. And then you get in there and there's the corner like buffet table with the cheese cubes and the weird vegetables with the strange colored carrots. And then you're supposed to like go over and get your little cheese cubes and then go to the bar and get your glass of wine so that you have something in your hand so that you don't feel awkward. And then you go like this and you try to find someone you can talk to, but other people are in their little clusters and then you don't want to break in with them. And so then you try to find a table, but maybe they don't have enough tables. It's just awful. Why do we do that to people for the very first opening night? We got to do
And
that.
now talk about how overstimulating that experience is altogether, because you've already stayed through this whole long programming, right? That's happened. And now you're tired, mentally tired. The last thing you want to do is try to like train your ear or force your ear to hear what this other person, and I've been in those conversations before where I'm literally just nodding, but I haven't heard anything they said. And now they're pausing and they're waiting for me to say something. And I realize I don't know what they said. And I sound like, I don't want to sound like stupid by like having them repeat all of that they just said. So it's like, that's when I pull one of those cards. Oh, I'm so sorry. I just saw someone that I need to go.
Exactly.
So awkward. So awkward. So
I feel like our events need to start with networking training and teaching people what we call the Pac-Man, right? So you stand in a circle, but with a little opening so that people feel like they can walk into it. And like, how can we open this up? I was talking to somebody who told me that their opening keynote every single year at their association event has someone come up on stage, explain the ethos of being inclusive and the Pac-Man stance so that from then on throughout the entire event, people recognize and understand it and are on the lookout for it. I think that's freaking brilliant.
I agree. Well, let's get into what good events look like and what good community building looks like and what you've been working on. And I wanted to premise with or ask you what happened to you, but then I realized actually this is not what I want to like frame the conversation. Maybe the question should be, what inspired you to start Club Ichi? But really at the end of the day, it's like, what happened to you?
What happened to you?
Exactly. To force you to start a community, and it's not easy work, right? And how did you envision it that it would be different from all the other event communities and association communities that are out there? Because there are many.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I will say we didn't create something to be different. That was not the intent, and that's not what we tried to do. And I don't think we're going up against any of the other communities. I think that it's an add-on to something that they're not doing that we do. The way we do stuff is just different. And so it should be complementary to those things. So I think that what is an event's purpose really comes down to what is the organizer's purpose. And so when we talk about what is a bad event, and what is a good event, it's did it align with why it needed to exist in the first place. So I had participated in unconferences before in my younger professional days and thought that they were super vibrant and really cool, very participatory, and that allow the people that are the attendees to actually have a part in what the content's going to be and how that content gets led, produced, spoken about, and really drives people together around common topics, but not in some crappy birds of a feather sign on the table way, but in a real participatory way. So I am a past president of one of the industry associations, had been in it for years, and I loved the event that I would go to every single year, but it was the same event. It was that scene in Big where they're like, it's like somebody created a business event in 1984 and kept spitting it out again. Well, that's what this event had kind of become for me. And we really, senior event professionals don't necessarily want to fly somewhere to sit and get content all day. You want to be able to network and be around the people, but also not just in a cheese cube business card swapping, can I scan your badge kind of way. You want to share over these problems and challenges you're having. But if the event isn't built to uncover what those are and to help those connections, then is it providing value? So I think you start to look at that and go, why do these corporate events, industry events, association, why do they happen? And if the answer is to drive membership and to drive sponsorship, and that's all they're trying to do, fine.
Check. Yes.
If the answer is to build a network and a community of people that are going to drive change and action, but your event is 100% sit and get, then you failed. So there's nothing wrong with the selling event if you know that's what it is and that's why you're there and that's what the people are signing up for. But if you have a selling event and you're positioning it as a community event and you forget to do community building, then you failed. So Club Ichi was really born out of that. Like, we go to these industry events because there are things we want to learn. We do want to hear best practices from people. We do want to see the sponsors and the exhibitors and find out what technology is new. But we also want this opportunity to have white space and curated conversations and solve problems. And they weren't doing it. They're still not really doing it. And so we started this to do that. So all of our events are small. The biggest one is 150 people, our spontaneous think tank that we're doing in Nashville this year in June. And that's the largest we do because it is more about relationships over transactions and solving problems together. So that was kind of the impetus for it.
I think it's very intentional, and obviously there is a structure to it, and it's not just a network, it's a community with heart and clarity and purpose, and I think that's important. Do you think those are the ingredients what made Club Ichi grow so quickly, or do you think people are just hungry for something else, something that provides them with a different kind of value?
I think what we kept hearing over and over again was, I go to industry events to get inspired. But what we kept hearing was, but I'm not. I'm going to industry events and I'm hearing speakers that I could have heard on YouTube, or I'm hearing speakers that are sharing everything already on podcasts. And I love to consume that content and I love to hear them. So when I go to those events, I need something different. And so I think that's part of what's grown so fast, is the ability to not have to focus on that event as the one way to connect, but actually have something that's 365 days a year that is like your event hotline. People can just jump in, ask a question, get immediate answers, and have that opportunity. I think that's what's fueled the growth a lot more than anything else. But we have this philosophy, we call it the 5 C's. It's either the 4 C's to connection or the 5 C's to community, however you want to do it. But it is care, collaborate, co-create, converse, and connect. And if you can do those 5 things, you are building community. The problem is, most people say, let's throw an event because we want to drive connection. We don't just put people in a room and then they magically connect. Like, there has to be something around it. So the first one is care. The people who are throwing the event have to care. They have to care about why people are coming, why they're doing it, and what the experience is. And I think too many people are kind of phoning it in, and it's mediocre, and it's not, there's just no care. It's careless. The second one is collaboration. So can we create an environment where the people who are there together have the opportunity to collaborate on something, whether it's building something together or coordinating, like what we do in our think tanks is to collaborate on what the agenda is going to be. What are your challenges? What of these challenges can you solve? The co-create is great. Let's take everything that just happened and build something together. So we're all part of this collective experience because we were all in it together. And then the converse part is allowing people to have conversations. When you go to a conference and it is just keynotes and breakouts all day long with a 15-minute coffee break, that's not even enough time to go to the bathroom and check your email and actually get coffee, then there's no conversation there. So intentionally allowing for that, then you have connection when you can do those things. And then that's why people leave our events and they go, oh my God, I feel like 24 hours ago, I didn't know these people. And now I have a whole new family that I didn't know existed. It's really cool.
Absolutely. That's clearly a strong strategic backbone to everything that you're building. And I think first I got to be a fan of you. I am a fan on LinkedIn. I mean, you only have like 20 something and growing fans.
Almost 23,000. I'm like 200 away from 23,000.
See how there's a lot of fans of Liz, and I was just one of them. And I remember thinking that there has to be something more, right, to those community out there. And I've been part of like with several associations, and personally, locally, I've actually been involved in community building way in the days when my little one was, I don't know if I know, I shared that story with you. My little one, when I had my son, he was very colicky and he would not sleep. So here I am, a first-time mom, a full-time job, and I see my son basically just on weekends. And when I see him, I don't know what the heck I'm doing because he's crying all the time. So I'm like, I'm failing. I'm like 100% failing. I feel like my nanny, she's doing a better job at being a mom than me. So at this point, I feel like the nanny, and my nanny is more like the mom, right? So I needed a way to cope with this new reality. And I love to go outside, go walking. I love hiking. This was Pacific Northwest, beautiful waterfalls. So I figured if I strap him to my body and I take him for walks and for little hikes, then we can manage this. And he would go for the longest naps, but that was the only way he would nap. So
Yeah.
I did that for several times, and then it got kind of lonely. Like you do that a while, and then you're like, I'm kind of lonely now. I wonder if there's other moms out there that need some support, like they're facing the same thing. So I remember reaching out on Facebook to just like a random post, and sure enough, I connect with this other woman, Shanti. And she's like, my son is the same age and we're dealing with the same problems. Let's go hiking together. So we literally started hiking together after work and on weekends. And then we're both kind of like people persons, right? So we're like, let's invite some more moms. So I kid you not, like between me and her, we started like this, what we call Hike It Baby community that was very much
Nice.
grassroots, and it blew out of proportions, like from this few different groups that we started organizing. Then we started getting on Facebook to have those Facebook groups. Because I'm like, how do you organize a community? We didn't have Slack by then. This is like 2003. And then it's grown into chapters and groups, and then grew like in thousand upon thousand of members. At this point, we'll have a website. And now I'm on the tech side, like making it work. And we have people submit hikes. And then we have to make sure that the leads, right, the who leads those hikes also are understanding the responsibility. And like we're dealing with parents and kids. Nothing is harder than dealing with people. And I
Right.
mean, this is, I feel like that's one of those things when I was watching you building this community, I'm like, I don't know how Liz does it, because I've done it for about 5 years and then I retired out of it because it was growing. Like at this point, it was a lot of members nationally at different levels, but then we were the ones managing everything that was happening. So if
Right.
somebody got to a hike trailhead and nobody was there, who did you think they complained to? They would
Oh,
complain to us.
you.
If somebody got like a boo-boo on a hike because their kid tripped and fell, who did you think they complained to? If the
Wow.
website was overloaded because we had too many hikes being submitted, we got to hear about that. So it was a
Wow.
lot of management, people management, and it was so tiring. We brought in a board, we brought in helpers, like it grew like, but it was this grassroots movement that it was a movement, because at this point we're way above our pay grade as far as dealing with community building, and we needed support, we needed sponsors, like we need a lot of growth pains that you go through.
Yeah.
What's cool about it, not only that there is a book, Hike It Baby, that I contributed hikes to, and it's actually on Amazon if you want to get it, but there's actually an organization now. So after I retired from that, because by then I already moved on to other things, my son didn't need so much hiking anymore, and I was already too busy traveling for events to have time for it anymore. Shanti, she kept at it for a little longer, and then eventually we turned this community into a nonprofit, and it
Wow.
went through the whole process of getting the
That's
501c.
incredible.
So anyway, this whole story to say, working with people, building communities, and making it intentional, it's a lot of work. So let me get to the point. What I'm trying to get to is, how do you do it all? Who are the main, what I would call support system pillars that
Yeah.
you brought around yourself to be able to move at the speed that you move on? Because is that David in the background?
Yeah, you hear him.
Okay, tell him to shut up.
Okay. Dave, Monica says you're too loud.
No, like for real, I can hear you. So when you think about the support system that you need to bring along, right? What's the saying that if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you
Yeah.
want to go far, go
Go
together?
together.
Who
Mhm.
are those people that you can say are basically your support system?
Yeah. I mean, it's true. And it's very hard to do because Nicole and I do go very, very fast together. So Nicole Ashiboto, obviously, is my partner in crime. We are the ones that started all of this craziness together. And we are yin and yang. We share a brain, and we definitely complement each other, and like have opposite skills in some places and complementary skills in others. We've done like the working genius assessments, and it's fascinating to where we totally fit and can run these things. But we do have to surround ourselves with people that can come in, go for projects and parts and pieces, but trying to build out the right group of people for the long haul has been the hardest part. I think getting the right folks around us that are actually going to stay and be a part of this and understand how much we care and care as much as we do, which you always say, if you start a company, your employees are never going to care as much as you do. So you have to just get over that immediately.
Yeah.
But that's hard for us because we do care so much, but also we're kind of tired of working 24/7. So we have to start building that network. But we view it as two levels, fans and locals. The fans are the people who can love Club Ichi from afar. Maybe they're members, maybe they're not. Maybe they buy the shirt, but they see each other. They meet up at EMS or PCMA and they high five and they send selfies. And those are the fans. And then the locals are the ones that are in there. They're saying yes to joining an advisory board. They're saying yes anytime we throw up a call for help or a call for volunteers or anything that needs to happen, or they want to volunteer and run a city pod somewhere and do meetups or pitch in some money to make something happen. Like those are the locals that are really in it. And I think you have to have both because the fans help you grow and they give you that external support that you need. And then your locals help defend you and help keep the culture and the vibe centered. So
Yeah.
now that David Stevens is on board as part of the team, we have Stephanie Taylor's our latest community manager, just joined us this week. She is phenomenal. So we've got now the right team in place for us to actually start going far. But we still have to go fast because there's a lot changing in this world. I mean, as we're recording this, there's a whole lot going on economically on the planet, and everyone wants to know what's happening. And because we're small and nimble and have a fast team, we can react to those questions. We can bring in guest speakers. We can throw a Zoom together and bring the community together to talk about it and complain about it and commiserate about it. And that's the nimbleness that we always want to keep. Even if we have 10,000 members, we want to keep it like that.
Absolutely. So how do you approach then experiential strategy when you're creating something new, like whether it's a think tank or a Club Ichi event or any of those outreach events that you've been putting on?
Well, if it's not fun, don't do it. That's rule number one. And different people have different desires for fun. So there is that. But also, if we would get an invitation and ignore it, then it was not good enough. So I think that's just the key number one rule, and making sure that we're trying something different and new. And also, you don't have to reinvent everything. Sometimes you can just change a little something or add a little glitter to it or just do a little thing, and it's still absolutely amazing. So trying to balance the focus on when do you completely reinvent and start from scratch and really push the boundaries versus when do you take something and test it and try it and evolve and learn something before you let it go.
Absolutely. So now that you see that the community is thriving, I know that you've got some exciting things lined up. So let's talk about what's coming up for Club Ichi members that you think our listeners should have on their radar. If they're not a member, what is in store for them?
So I will tell you a little bit of the history of Club Ichi. When we started, it was a Slack channel and some local supper clubs here in Austin. We had a partnership with a venue location. She had a bunch of houses, kind of Airbnb styles, called Lodgewell, and she would give us a house. We would hire a private chef, and we would charge $150, give all of that money straight to the chef. Didn't take any of it. It was just gathering. So we'd have 8 to 12 people going to these houses once a month. And then we started a Slack channel, which quickly grew to 600 people in like a few months. So when we started seeing that more cities wanted to do these things and more people wanted to get in, the Slack channel was definitely internationally almost instantly. We thought, okay, let's really focus on this and figure out exactly how we can grow it appropriately. So since then, the Slack channel went like total bonkers and went up to like 1,200, 1,400 people at one point. And we were like, all right, now it's just a little out of control. If we want to make this the business and actually support it the way it needs to be supported, we're going to have to start bringing in some partners to help us fund this. And like, we have bills to pay too. And then a membership level that we can really focus on, because once we had 12,000 people on the email list and 1,400 people in the Slack channel and like all of this stuff happening, it's time to focus. This is real. people care about it. We need to care about it too. So we hit pause on a lot of the stuff so that we could truly figure out how we're going to focus. So this is what our Club Ichi members will get to experience now. So the Slack channel is amazing because it is like your instant event hotline. You need a venue in San Francisco for 20 CEOs and you're looking for not just a regular restaurant, you drop it in the venues channel. You need to revamp your entire event portfolio strategy for 2026 and you don't know where to start, you drop it in the I Need Help channel. You're looking for swipe files or templates on event budgets, you go look in the insider resources. You can get all of this stuff in there. But the Slack messages disappear every 90 days because we don't pay for Slack. So it's just an instant event hotline. So what we need is the place, the platform where we can actually house this knowledge base and where we can make sure that people feel like you're definitely in something. Yeah. Slack channel is not going away because we love it and we're going to keep it. But a company called Intrivium is building out our community platform, which is going to launch the first week of May. So we're going to have this opportunity for people to actually have networking and connections. So a true member directory for our insiders where you can search on cities, you can search on interests, you can actually find each other, which is not, you can't really do that in Slack very easily. So we're kind of growing up on the community standpoint. We have incredible partnerships with some technology pieces that are coming in to help us do these amazing, amazing things. So we're really growing what's going to happen there that I'll be able to talk about very, very soon on some of the other things. But we also like to be a playground for technology. And our insiders are the first to get access to beta testing things and to give feedback on things and give focus group information and help back to the tech companies and the agencies that are in there and actually build this industry together and not just feel like you're going to a thing to get sold to. So it's a really, really fun experience for us to see. And then we're doing our in-person spontaneous think tank coming up in June in Nashville. We have a partnership with ASM Global. So we've got the Nissan Stadium for this incredible experience, but it's limited to 150 people because we do keep it small. It also happens to be right after a big, giant, famous festival is moving out of the arena. So we get to do some behind the scenes with the loadout and see how they turn a venue like that, which is super cool. That's what we're known for, is behind the scenes experiences. And then we have these barefoot business retreats that are just 20 people. They're very small. Last year, we chartered a yacht in Croatia and all the conference sessions were held on inflatable unicorns. This year will probably be a domestic location. It'll be in November this year. So we'll kind of alternate and keep it so that you can access something at your price point throughout the year. And then the big thing is the secret trip. So back in 2019, Nicole and I did the world's first secret business trip where we invited 80 experiential marketers to meet us at JFK, bring a passport, and we told them how to pack, but nothing else. When they got there, we revealed that we had chartered a plane to Tuscany and we whisked them away for this 6-day spontaneous think tank truffle hunting pasta making experience. Finally, after a global pandemic and all sorts of craziness, the secret trip is back. And it is happening in April of 2026. So we will tell you where to go and we will tell you how to pack and we will tell you nothing else. And it is going to be freaking epic.
Is that around my birthday? Because maybe I should put it on my calendar.
You should put it on your calendar. We've been doing our conversations and site visits. We have about 30 more days of finalizing, doing the location scouting and making sure that the place we're going is exactly perfect for everything we're trying to do. Then we will start launching registration.
Before we continue, I want to give a shout out to the team at TreeFan Events. We are not just an event planning and production agency. We are focused on integrating innovative AV solutions, AI strategies, and wellness-focused practices through our Fit for Events framework. Whether you're planning live, virtual, or hybrid events, the team at TreeFan Events is here to provide personalized planning, strategic design, and seamless technology management to ensure everything runs flawlessly. And now, we are offering AI-powered workshops to help you grow your business, build stronger teams, and elevate your events to the next level. If you want to learn more about how the team at TreeFan Events can help make your event unforgettable, visit treefanevents.com.
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack there. There's a lot of events coming up. If you want to remember all of that, probably the best bet is to subscribe to the Engaged Attendee.
Just go to weareichi.com and you can see like the stuff that's going on, what's available for non-members and what's available for members.
Absolutely. I mentioned earlier how much I enjoyed the featured tech section in the Engaged Attendee. And I love to talk to you about how tech fits into your vision, because there's a lot of talk about AI and technology and the things that we're dealing with on an event basis. It's funny because I come at it from the production side, and I think with production, things are very straightforward. I mean, in my mind, they are. They're also very concise. Like if I need projection, if I need projection mapping, if I need sound, if I need reinforcement, if I need microphones, this is the gear that I need to make that happen. With technology, I'm coming to learn, there's a lot of unknowns and there's a lot of assumptions as well. So like, for example, you think that you would have this technology connect with this other technology and it will magically happen on the back end because what is technology out there and what are those engineers doing, but working on their software to make it work. Not so fast. This one technology can say, yeah, we absolutely integrate with this other technology. And then you come to realize the day of the event that actually that is not true. That is not the case. Oh yeah, there's this integration that we're working on for like 7 years, but we never actually got to finalize it. And it's still not finalized. Or they're like talking about it in 2024, they dropped it somewhere on the roadmap, and then we're in 2025 and you're thinking because they mentioned it and they broadcast it in 2024, it's done deal and we have it available. Not so fast. So a lot of unknowns, not a lot of precision, if you may, when it comes to, and that is very interesting to me, right? So what role do you think technology should play in enhancing, not replacing community and connection in events and removing some of the frustrations that many of us deal with on the front end or the back end?
Yeah, I don't know if technology is going to remove the frustrations or add more to them, because I think that in this omni-channel world, not only are we being hit with communications from every single direction, but we're on the back end trying to piece it all together. So actually, that is the one biggest thing that I would love for AI specifically to solve, which is just be the place where all my crap can be brought into, and then you tell me the stuff I really need to pay attention to. I feel like that would be the use case that I would dream of more than anything. But exactly what you said, I think that technology should enhance and should augment and should support and not take away from. That's when tech goes bad. Like we've all been to an event where the app doesn't work. And so then all you can talk about is how bad the app was and feel really bad for the guys that sponsored the app because they weren't the app company. They were someone who got their logo on the app, and now everybody hates that company because they had their logo on the app. Like it's terrible. But if you can have an experience that is a part of it and it is leveraging the technology to help people connect and to help people do things, it's great. But like with our spontaneous think tanks, they are sticky notes and Sharpie markers. And over the years,
you cannot get any more low tech than that.
No, but since we started them in 2016, people have been saying, oh, I could build you an app for that. I could make it. And I'm like, no, you do not understand. It has to be tactile. It drives the networking. It drives the conversation. It creates the community. We will never put tech on that. But the back end of it, when it's done, and I have an entire wall of woes with everybody's challenges up there, take a picture of those sticky notes, throw it into ChatGPT, tell it to find the top 5 trends that we see on the wall. We can 100% use technology.
Computer vision is great for that.
Exactly. So it's like knowing when and where to use the tech and when to not, I think is a really key part of the experience and of the strategy. And so what I like to put in the engaged attendee newsletters, I always do a featured tech and a featured human. And it's because to drive engagement, there is technology that can help. And I want people to go explore new stuff or even old stuff that you've forgotten about that still is tried and true, and kind of bringing that up. And then the featured human side, because that is it. It's like, I think it was Paul Tremonti who gave me the soundbite that I just keep using and pretending like it was mine, which is technology and AI can replace service, but it can never replace hospitality. And that's where the humans really need to live.
Absolutely. And I think that blend of human intentional and then digital innovation is where a lot of the magic is going to happen, or that's the goal, right? Now, as you are doing those 7-minute, which by the way, I love those 7-minute demos just because it's not long enough to bore you, but also it's short enough to make you want to know more, right? Are there any emerging tools or platforms that you're especially excited about that help elevate engagement and community building that you're working with right now?
No, they all suck. No, I'm kidding. I'll tell you the one that I haven't seen get solved yet is true networking matchmaking.
Oh my gosh, you're speaking my language.
I've seen so many demos of so many different tools and they're fine, but they're not amazing. Now, I will say one I tried today, and we're going to do some stuff with them for Club Ichi. It's called Chance. And it's like 20 minutes audio networking. So you can do it on the computer or on the phone, but there's no video that you have to stare at. And it's 20 minutes and you set it up almost like an event and people join it. And then you pick your topics or whatever. And so for 20 minutes, you do 4 5-minute phone calls with someone. And you can throw up some icebreaker questions or whatever, but basically you hit the little button, you get thrown into a room and you're like, hey, Anka. And you go, hey, Liz, hey, where are you? I see you're in Austin and we can do the thing. So today I did that. I met with 3 people. My 4th one ghosted me and it was Greg, the CEO. So I'm going to just say that out loud. Come on, Greg. Anyway, it's fine. But so I met somebody who they were all 3 entrepreneurs. But the second one that I talked to, she just happened to say she was in Pittsburgh, I think, or Philly. I think she was Pittsburgh. And it's really cold and still snowing, which is a big change because she just spent 2 years in Ethiopia. And I was like, why are you in Ethiopia? Then she started telling me because she backpacked from South Africa to Egypt and ended up living in Ethiopia for 2 years and met her husband. And I was like, wow, my 17-year-old wants to go backpacking across the country. We haven't talked about a continent. So she's sending me all these info. It was literally within 5 minutes of me talking to her that we had this amazing, wonderful connection and we can share info. So that I thought was really super cool, but it has to be used incredibly intentionally. It can't just be like, this thing's going to be open all day. You can hop on a network when you want. It's never going to work if anyone tries to use it that way.
Isn't that what Remo does though? I feel like Remo uses a similar type of like framework.
Maybe, I don't know, but we're going to try this out for our think tank in June, and all the people who've registered for it 2 weeks before, we'll do a couple of networking things so that you can meet up with the people that you're going to see in person and start having conversations. So that's where I think that it's like a strategic strike use of these things.
Have to,
is how to do it.
Because otherwise, I feel like I would be a little wary to jump on a platform and just randomly like start talking to random people that, I mean, I'm sure there could be some conversations that are enlightful and wonderful, right? But at the same time, I'm like, there has to be a purpose. What's the purpose?
Exactly. And that's where I think a lot of these go wrong, where it's just like, well, you put in your topics and you're just going to meet people on this platform. Like, I don't really want to do that. I mean, that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
There is something to the spontaneous collision of finding people that way. And I think that it's great. I just haven't seen anyone really, truly solve it yet.
Yeah, absolutely. And even when they talk about like AI matchmaking, there is like such frustration with that because there's no AI matchmaking if you're pulling tags and registration data to matchmake. That's not AI. That's you literally using your registration data to create this manual process of matching people. So let's solve that problem first and then call it what it could be. So anyway, different tangent. Let's get back to our personal mission, big picture thinking. You've obviously made a career of helping people connect, and you do it with humor and heart and no fluff approach, which is fantastic. What continues to drive your passion for this industry after so many years? I mean, so many years. It's been a few decades, right? A couple of decades.
It has been, yeah.
And how has your personal mission evolved over time as you think about it?
I think that the personal mission for me was to do events that I'd personally want to go to. So that was like, for me, everything I created when I was at Dell or at IBM, I mean, it was just about, there are brand boundaries you have to fit into when you're in a corporation, but that doesn't mean it has to be boring. And there were many, many events that I had no influence in that experience. And it was my job to just run it. And so I couldn't influence. But as I moved up the ladder and changed what my role was and got to be more strategic and have more influence, then I could make those decisions and I could influence my leaders to agree with my crazy ideas and do ridiculous things. So that got way more fun. So as I left corporate and went into the agency world, started up an experiential agency with some friends, then we got that opportunity to present all of the crazy, amazing ideas. And even if we knew that the client was never going to pick the craziest one, it got them thinking a little bit further into the future than they'd ever thought before. And that's what really sparked me going, that's all people need. It's not that they need someone to follow, it's that they need someone that inspires them to just step outside of where they have to live all the time. And so that's what we try to do now. And it's not that what we do is wild and ridiculously crazy. Some of it is, but some of it's not. It's just simply like, hey, I'm living in 2035. You're living in 2015. Can we just get you to 2025 together? And like, let's just live in the now. And so that's really what we try to do.
You know what I love about this story? I have to share the story because I think this was, I don't know when it was, probably the year, but it was pre-COVID and it was my first time at IMAX America. And I went as actually a guest. I didn't even go as a hosted buyer. I just wanted to do all the things and do it on my own terms. So I signed up for this experience that somehow I don't know how I heard about it. And it was the Vegas Showgirls. And I didn't know at the time that you and Nicole were the brain child like behind this whole experience. So what was funny was that I signed up for it, and then I don't know how I got to connect with this other girl, a good friend of mine now, Nicole, and she told me, "Hey, I'm doing this thing." I mean, we literally just met. And I'm like, "Hey, I'm doing that too. Do you want to take a Uber from our hotel and we can do it together?" So here I am in a Uber with a stranger, and we go to this experience that we have no idea what it's about, and we're like, we're signing up for this. I mean, this is getting as adventurous as we can get. It was one
For
of
those of you
the
that don't know
best.
Showgirl Boot Camp,
Right.
it's literally led by the former head showgirl from the Tropicana, and she has this studio with all the showgirl gear.
All the hat pieces, which weigh about 50 pounds or more.
She makes you do your own makeup with some guidance from her, showgirl makeup, and then everybody has to get up and learn the showgirl walk and
Yes.
walk while wearing all the feathers and all the sequins is epic.
It was such a phenomenal event. I mean, maybe that's what got me into bodybuilding and doing shows and dressing up for it. Who knows? I'm just saying.
That's amazing.
It was the best experience ever. And that IMAX, it was definitely one of those staple events for me. And it was because of that experience as well, because I have never done something as crazy as that. Nicole and I were still friends since day one from that experience. And I saw what it did to her because, I mean, I'm an extrovert and I can put myself into a situation and make fun of myself, even though I have no idea what the heck I'm doing. So I'm like, I have no clue about dancing. Working on my posing for my shows, it actually takes a lot of effort, a lot of practice. And when I say a lot, I mean 6 months before a show, every single day for 30 minutes, I practice posing because it doesn't come natural for me. So I knew that that's not down my wheelhouse. Like I was ready to make fun of myself in high heels and those like crazy platform high heels with this thing that's like you're toppling. If just 1 inch you're moving to this side, you're falling over.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what was interesting is to see the experience that Nicole went through and her confidence, like her body confidence in herself and doing something so out of character. And that was beautiful to just see her like really shine through that. So anyway, kudos to you and your Nicole for putting something like that together. And I'm pretty sure it was either you or Nicole there. I'm not sure, but it was just such a fun event.
Yeah, we were both
That
there.
You are there. See, if that doesn't sell you onto some of the crazy events that Club Ichi does and Lee's and Nicole
Well, and
puts on,
speaking of
I don't know
IMAX,
what will.
the one that we did last year was we had heard that they were imploding the Tropicana. And so we reached out to our friends at MGM and said, could you help us get a suite overlooking the Tropicana? And because the explosion was supposed to happen at 2:37 a.m. And so we're like, oh my God, okay. So Jen York was able to get us. She's like, here's how much it's going to cost. It's looking right over the Tropicana. I checked with the VP of sales. She promises me it's facing the Tropicana. We're like, because that would just be the worst of it is we're on the
Right?
other side of the hotel.
You're
Right?
voicing the opposite.
So I threw out to the community. I was like, hey guys, anybody want to pitch in $500? We can all crowdsource this and we can just pay for the suite and get some food. Everybody threw in between $250 and $500. We bought the suite, we paid for some food, and we had our exploding pajama party at 2:30 a.m. and watched that thing go. It was the most phenomenal. And of course, Vegas put on a show, drone show, fireworks. We were all crying. It was amazing. We used the sleep masks as our name tag, so everybody had to write their name on it. It was great.
There's definitely a video or a reel somewhere on the internet if you're curious, because I'm like, I don't remember last time I was up at 2:30 a.m. for anything aside from childbirth. So here we go.
But again, that's it, right? It's not for everyone. It was at 2:30 in the morning. Some people needed to sleep, but it was a once in a lifetime moment for us that we couldn't let pass by. It was happening while everyone was in Vegas. We had the right connections. We had the ability to do something. Let's do it. It was so great.
Absolutely. Well, obviously, what we're trying to say here is that Club Ichi is more than just events. It's about relationship. It's about being real. So let me ask you something as we're coming to a close here. What's been one of the most meaningful moments or connections that you've seen happen through the community?
Every single day. I see them happen every day. I think the one for me was when we started the community. So we rented a little ranch outside of Waco, Texas. We had about 15 people came and showed up. It had a collection of one big ranch house and it had some tiny homes. And it was basically let's spend 3 days there. Everyone just needs a break from life. We'll do a chili cook-off amongst us and we'll do a nacho table and all these things. We curated just like we normally do with our think tank what the agenda would be. People led sessions and we were all kind of in our pajamas most of the 3 days. It was really great, but it was mine and Nicole's event and I was on, right? So when is food? What are we doing? This is what's going on. So it's hard to be real and be present when you're running these things. But I was in such a huge, deep conversation with one of the members, and we're both crying and we're like really connecting over something. And it dawns on me, I haven't started dinner. All of a sudden, my senses wake up and I start smelling something. And I'm like, wait, is someone cooking? And I look in the kitchen and Dave Stevens comes over and he's like, hey, dinner's almost ready. Like we've done this, a whole community, like we did it. And so they had made chili. There were 4 different kinds of chili and everyone had just done everything. And it was like, it's community. That's what this is. It's like, we truly do just pitch in. It's potluck. It's help each other. And that was the moment that I was like, okay, we definitely know the right people and there are more of us out there. So when we can bring people together with that vibe, we're doing the right thing. So that was the week that the name Ichi was created, the idea of the community was created. All of it began right there. And I think we just try to carry that through. And again, seeing that every day and seeing people find jobs in the community, whether it's freelance gigs that are literally happening every day or actual jobs. We constantly, someone's like, hey, I applied for this role. Anyone know anyone there that can connect me? Yes, I know 3 people. Let me send a note to them. That stuff happens. And then the business, someone's asking for advice and people are recommending other people in there and business gets done right there. It's not intended to be for business, but that's what this world is. We all want to work with people we know, like, and trust. And so you can build that environment for it. And so it's so great.
What a great story. And it just dawned on me, Liz, that we literally came to the end of our conversation and have not actually given our audience, international audience, the explanation or the translation of what exactly Ichi stands for.
Right. Yeah, so Ichi is the Japanese word for one. And it came about because as we were talking about community names, I was like, you know what? I had just found this phrase that was Ichigo, Ichi-e, which means one moment, one time. And that's that feeling we all try to create with our events. What is that unrecapturable moment that people remember? You in a showgirl outfit, everyone watching Tropicana, like what is that moment? And so right when I said the phrase, everybody was like, oh, goosebumps. One, we are Ichi, we are one. That's the name of this community. And so we put the word club in front of it. So it was a little more clear that it's like, this is a place to go. It's like a country club for event people. You know that you're going to buy a membership. You know that the right people are going to be there. You know that business is going to happen there, but it's not for business, but it's for the relationships. It feels right. So that is Club Ichi.
I love it. So what's one piece of advice that you'd give someone who wants to create more meaningful connections, whether it's at their event, in their brand, through a community, anything that you want to advise them on?
I think it's intention over attention. So really planning for that and not just pushing content out at people all the time. It's having event wingmen, like use your executive team, your board of directors, your volunteers. Can they be there at registration to welcome people? Can they be there at the networking reception with the purposeful intent of helping people connect? And those moments of the coffee break, instead of just letting it be a coffee break and a bathroom break, what are the things you can bring in that do help people connect? Even if it's something stupid like putting conversation topics on the coffee sleeve, like just thinking about those moments where you can drive the connection, because people aren't really like ants. If you put them all in an ant farm, they don't immediately know that they have to like start digging tunnels and bury their dead and do all the stuff. People kind of go into a room, at least these days, and just retreat into their cell phone if they're not guided. So we have to have a guide. We have to choreograph these moments now. And I think that's the biggest driver.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Liz, for sharing your wisdom, your energy with us today. And for anyone that wants to learn more about Club Ichi, you mentioned a website that you can mention again. Also, sign up for the Engaged Attendee. Where else should they go to connect with you?
I live on LinkedIn. I'm on there all the time. I was a journalism major and I love to write. It's like my therapy. So I write pretty much every single day. So definitely connect with me on LinkedIn, Liz Lathan. And then, of course, weareichi.com. And then, of course, I'm in the Club Ichi Slack channel all day long, too. So once you're a Club Ichi member, you can get inside there and access all of the other insiders that are hanging out.
And how do you become a Club Ichi member?
At weareichi.com, you can go join. Right now, we're starting to bring people on in cohorts. So the next opening, as we're recording this in April, it'll be the first week of May that the next group comes in. So that's what we're trying to do now, is kind of bring people in as a group so you know the people you're joining with and go through a process together. And now you actually get that connection up front.
I love that. That onboarding sounds so corporate and professional.
And you have to be an insider to learn about the itty bitty rubber chickie. So come join us and get into the secret handshake.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Liz, for our vibrant, insightful conversation today. Thank you for everyone that was listening and for tuning into the Events Demystified podcast. If you like the episode, go ahead and subscribe, leave a review, send it to one other event friend that you know would benefit from this. And until next time, well, keep creating, keep connecting, and keep showing up for your people. And with that, see you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Events Demystified podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with other professionals like yourself. If you're interested in learning more about TreeFan events, including our future AI education talks and workshops, or to see how we can support your next event, book a free 20-minute consultation through the link in the episode notes. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and follow us on YouTube, Spotify, and social media for updates on future episodes, industry insights, AI news and tips, and more. And if you have any topics you'd like us to cover, feel free to reach out.